Good day, my friends and family. We've got a lovely sunshiny day, and I'm so grateful towards God. And I just want to share with you a story that Matthew Kelly wrote. I don't know who Matthew Kelly is, but this COVID crisis, I can still remember the first time that my wife and I heard about this, but then it was only China, so we didn't really take notice. But then, eventually, it became a pandemic and everybody had to take notice because it was coming nearer and nearer to us. And now, I don't think there's a single person who doesn't have some friends that already died because of COVID. Several of the people that we know that already died of this is just showing us the reality. There is a very definite virus. I don't care about whether the government overreacted. I think they probably overreacted if we look at death statistics, but I don't want to talk about that today. The thing that is important to me is that we can kind of like identify with this story that I want to tell you today. And like I said, it's the story of Matthew Kelly. I don't know who he is, but he wrote it. And it's about this dad who one day switched on his radio and he heard about a virus, an epidemic breaking out in a certain area, but it's far away country. And he didn't really take notice of it. But the next day, when he listened to the radio again on his way to work, he heard that it spread to several other countries and that it's an extremely dangerous virus. So this time he listened more clearly. And then eventually, the first person who was infected with that virus was tested in his own country. And this time, he really listened carefully. And the next moment, the whole world was infected with this most deadly virus on earth. And everybody knew that it was the end. The doom prophet said it, the media. Luckily, one of the professors, he and his research team found a solution. They could develop a serum against this most dangerous disease and save people. There was only one condition. They need clean blood. And it didn't look like a problem at that point in time. But the moment that they started to search for clean blood, guess what? They realized everybody's already been infected. And the governments all over the world announced that people must go to their nearest hospitals and they must be tested. Everybody went there and they stood in queues. Everybody was looking forward to somebody, at least if there was just one person with clean blood, the whole world could be saved. But there wasn't. This dad, he and his wife, their only son, they also had to go to the hospital. And they stood there in the queue, and then they tested them, and they had to wait for the outcome, and while talking there to their friends and so on, the next moment, the research team stormed out, the doctors, and they said, you know what? We've got the most wonderful news in the world. There's pure blood. We found pure blood. Somebody not infected by this disease. We can all live. We can make our serum. And then the doctor came to this dad and his wife, his son, and he said, I want to see you in private. And when they went in private, the doctor told them, you know what, we found clean blood. Your son. This dad said, you can't be serious. Not my son. You can't do anything to my son. Do you know that he's my only son, my only hope, my only love? He's my future. And the doctor said to him, I know how you feel about your only son. But if we don't take your son, and if he's not giving his blood, everybody will die. This dad knew he had to make the decision. And he took his son and he hugged him and he placed him in the hands of the doctor. And when he walked away, he could hear his son screaming, "Dad, Dad!" And he felt the pain of leaving his son behind. And I tell you, God, do you think, God the Father, do you think it was easy for him? Do you think it was easy for him giving his own son? I just want to share this with you to show you the tremendous weight of this decision that had to be taken. And so that you can experience some of the tremendous love that this Father has got for us. He gave his only son with pure blood, no sin in him, to save this whole world that was busy. All of us was infected, every single one. We were looking for clean blood for generations. And luckily, God clothed himself in flesh and blood. And as Jesus, he gave his life for us, so that we now can have a new kind of life, eternal life, eternal as well. This is the kind of God that we serve. This is the Father to whom we belong. I bless you in his holy name.